Wubba lubba dub dub!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Software Misadventures podcast. And thanks for that beginning, Wang. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So, we usually have a guest in each episode who is a founder, an engineer, or an investor who we talk to about their path, lessons they have learned, and of course, the misadventures along the way. This episode, however, is a little different. It's just your hosts, Guang and I.
Hello.
And we would like to share with you what has changed since we started the podcast, our plans going forward, and what we have learned over the last year. Now, many things have changed since we started, but few things are still the same. And one of those is the why behind us starting this podcast. Like most good things come in packages of three, there are also three main reasons why we started this. First is that we have always wanted to learn from people who are smarter than us, who are very successful in their fields. And while we listen to other podcasts, read books, and blogs, starting a podcast is our means of having a conversation with the people we admire. Second, we want to get better at asking questions. Now, this has happened many times when we are listening to a live interview and the audience is requested for questions. And in those instances, we don't know what to come up with. So this is our way of exercising that muscle where we want to learn from people who are better than us, but we don't always know what the right thing to ask is.
Yeah, I don't know this yet, but Ronak has actually secretly planned us a surprise getaway to New York for the Daily Show, and we're going to impress Trevor Noah with all the beautiful questions that we're gonna ask. So I know it's a surprise, and so thanks for keeping it a surprise, Ronak. But I'm looking forward to it very much. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I mean Guang is gonna send me the ticket to New York as well as to the show. So yeah, no
No,
problems at all.
It's a surprise from you. It's not from me. Yes, I don't have money.
And last, we want to share these conversations with all of you so that you can learn along with us as we're having these conversations with many, many folks. Our intention with this podcast has been and will be to focus on the people and not just the tech. There's a unique story behind every person, and we want to uncover that. We want to get into specifics about how they approach certain things, their practices, routines, and what lessons they've learned in their journey. We joke internally, but also take it quite seriously, that we want to be the Tim Ferriss show for technology podcasts. So that sets the bar super high, which we are going to continue aspiring to achieve. Not sure if we ever will, but that's our goal.
So it's been a little over a year since we started the podcast, and 18 episodes later, there's a few things that are different. So the first is the main reason for doing this episode. As y'all may have already noticed by the topics in the recent episodes, we're expanding the scope of our conversations to go beyond production outages and infrastructure engineering to things like indie hacking, product management, angel investing. And if you have any suggestions on topics that interest you, please shoot us a note via Twitter or email us at hello@softwaremisadventures.com.
And for all the folks who are into the Web3 or the crypto space, that's also a space that we are very curious about. And we might have quite a few conversations this year in that domain.
Nice. So the other big change, if you haven't noticed, is that our co-host Austin, with his HD voice that does our intro, has been pretty absent in the past few episodes. Oh wait, what's that? You haven't noticed? Okay, great. Let's just continue to the next section now. Just kidding. So we're pretty bummed, but Austin has peaced out a little while back. We're very sad.
We miss you, Austin.
I don't. I hate his guts. I was the best man at his wedding, so I feel like I could, make that joke.
You can say that. Yes.
But it did. However, it did help in prompting both Ronak and I to think more deeply about why we're doing this podcast in the first place and how our interests have evolved over time. So, in the end, we think that to deliver the best quality of content that we can, we need to be really fully invested in the topics that we bring you. So, we're very excited about what's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, and reflecting over the past 15 months, one thing that has pleasantly surprised us is that the guests have been super generous with their time. It makes us unbelievably happy when a guest responds to a cold email request to chat with us on the show. In fact, this podcast wouldn't even have started if Kelsey Hightower did not respond to our cold email. Kelsey, if you're listening to this, thanks for giving us noobs your time and being so generous.
Yeah, thanks, Kelsey, and also putting up with my dumb jokes. I feel like Ronik has too because we're doing the podcast together, but I've also been, surprised by the patience that the the guests have shown us.
We've also realized that researching about the guests has been paying off. We find ourselves increasingly comfortable in a conversation when we've done enough research, and ends up being a good experience for the guests too. When recording an episode, our biggest goal, first and foremost, is to have a good conversation and make the guest feel welcomed. We found that when guests are comfortable with us, they are much more open in sharing their stories, and that makes for a great episode. And we want to take this moment to thank all the guests who have given us a chance. You have been very generous with your time and authentic in sharing your stories. This would not be possible without you, and we have learned a lot in the last 15 months. So thank you so much.
Yep. And over the last 15 months, we've done 18 episodes and have had over 16,000 unique downloads. So thank you so much to all of our listeners for showing your support and listening to the podcast. Special shout out to my mom who listens to our podcast. She's not in the infrastructure engineering field, but thanks, mom, for the support. We're also looking into ways to learn more about you, our listeners, and finding ways to better engage with you. So again, if you have any feedback or suggestions for us, or just want to say hi, please reach out to us via Twitter, or email us at hello@softwaremisadventures.com. So yeah, we have many more exciting conversations lined up, and super looking forward to sharing those with you.
Until next time, take care. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the show. You can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and learn more about us at softwaremisadventures.com. You can also write to us at hello@softwaremisadventures.com. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, take care.